Hey y'all, welcome back to It Ain't All About You channel. My name is Brian, and today I'm going to kind of piggyback on my last video, which was all about main character syndrome. But today I'm going to add in the gay community because I feel like it ain't going so great anymore. And me being a gay man, I feel like I have a lot to say about it. And a big part of this channel is going to be me talking about that. So I got my notes so I can make sure that I can stay on track with things. But make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe. And here, let's get into the topic. So what I kind of want to go over is just a little bit about me a little bit more. So I came out around when I was 20. Pretty much family didn't go so great at first, but then things kind of evened out and it went pretty well. All my friends seemed to be okay with it. I think a lot of people were more accepting of it around the 2000 marker than was given credit for. I was led to believe a lot of things were out to get me, a lot of bad stuff was going to happen, but it turns out it really wasn't. I spent a lot of my 20s going to some rallies to kind of fight for equality and gay marriage and things like that, which we ultimately did achieve. But I feel like that might have been not a great thing for us because once we got it, enough is never enough. Back to the main character syndrome also, because people just live in their little bubbles and they want more and more and more and me. So another thing that bothers me with it is that the organization called Human Rights Campaign, they fought for us for a very long time. They spent, was it 20, 30 years trying to help us to get our rights to get married. But what happens to a massive organization that takes in millions of dollars in donations gets their goal? They no longer cease to exist anymore. So when that kind of stuff happens, you start to wonder, why is it now gay is almost worse than it was when I first came out? And I think the answer to that is because they have spent so much time focusing on the trans and the alphabet mafia parts and all the other parts of it that aren't what we wanted. Because when I first came out of the closet, this is not what my friends wanted. We went to some of these rallies together and we wanted to blend in. We wanted to have families and we wanted to be part of society. That is all we wanted. So all that's happening now is, in my view, is just, it's crazy because the gay community was pretty normal on what we wanted. And now, since that happened, it's just, we've gone off the cliff. And I sometimes think we're doomed and I don't know how to come back from it. And it bothers me quite a bit. So, and like I said, you give people an inch, they take it a mile with the pronouns and all the other nonsensical things that come along with it. And I feel like it just is undoing everything that we fought for. I mean, you have all these young 20-year-olds that come out and they're pan-gender, non-binary, stick figure, queer activist, bullhead. I don't know. Just, it's endless with those. And it's literally making a mockery of what we wanted and we fought for a very long time. And when I came out, though, it was still not that great to be gay. I mean, I had to hide it for a lot of things. It wasn't as bad as what they made it out to be, but I had to hide some things. And nowadays, it's like I said, it's making a mockery of it. This is why sometimes I kind of agree with the whole LGB movement of cutting off the T and plus, because it's just, I feel like it's just not going in the direction it should be going anymore. And I want to try to reach out to people to try to remind the gay community, especially in my age group, maybe even younger, that this isn't what we wanted. You know, I'm afraid that we will lose eventually our rights to get married. I'm afraid that they're going to keep coming at us, and it would be actually warrant because what they're doing for the kids and all the drag queens with that and the story hours, and it's just, it's not right. I've been to a lot of bars, a lot of drag shows and everything else, and I never in a million years would have imagined seeing a young kid being read to by story hour or going to a bar full of drag queens bouncing around, because all the drag queens I ever knew were drugs, lots of alcohol, lots of other things that are probably not appropriate to say. And why do we want to be around the kids with that? I know what they're trying to do. They're trying to make kids to be more tolerant so they don't have to worry about the same situations when they get older. But I feel like it's not real. Like, it doesn't have to be like that. There's no reason why we have to go after the kids like that. And it bothers me like crazy. Like, I just went to our last gay Pride Fest, and I was kind of appalled by all the small kids there. And there's booths selling dildos right next to where the kids are. There's people walking around assless chaps, smoking, doing tons of drugs, pulling their things out, and there's kids around. I'm like, this is not like kid friendly. And I have some friends telling me like, well, they go to beaches. Beaches don't have dildos and swimming suits are on. They're not naked. So I feel like that's kind of a moot point on that. It just doesn't really kind of come together. So these are the kind of things that are really bothering me. And, the whole pronoun thing drives me absolutely nuts because people misgender me all the time. You're on the phone, I get called lady when my voice is not even like high at all. But people make mistakes. We have a lot going in our head. People say things, they don't realize what they're saying. And we're holding people accountable and people are getting fired and all the other nonsensical things that are happening. And it saddens me because this really is not what we wanted. We fought for us to blend in, and it's never going to happen when you have a lot of people in the gay community screaming for everyone else to respect them. But people are never going to respect you if you don't respect them. It's kind of a two-way street. And you run around screaming, respect me, bend to what I say, believe me, trust everything I'm saying, be me, be blah, blah, blah. But do you do that for them? And the answer is no, they don't. They get pissed at all the churches being like, oh, they're trying to convert me, and then yell at them, but that's their opinion and this is your opinion. So we're all entitled to our own opinions, but it's whether or not we can get along. And I feel like most of the gay community is so self-obsessed that they feel like they're under attack all the time when they're not. And it's actually their attitudes and their behavior is what's actually being attacked. Because the gay bitchiness thing it's not a good look. Straight people do not like gay bitchy, especially men. Straight men really do not like gay bitchy. It annoys me, and I'm a gay man. And when you're girlier than the girliest girl, it is a show. And people don't like that. I don't like it. I never have liked it because my entire history and my entire coming out, me being gay has been like the minute amount of who I actually am. And that's not who I am. My name is Brian, and there's endless things about me that are way more fascinating than me being gay. But most of the gay community, their whole identity wrapped up in everything about them is who they sleep with in the bedroom. And I never understood that. Like, I've never owned a rainbow flag. I mean, I never will either. I mean, now they're just ugly as all get up, but I never saw a need for it. I met people and we talked about stuff and they were asked if I had a girlfriend. I'm like, no, I'm actually gay. And we moved on. Like, I don't need to walk up to someone and be like, hey, I'm a homosexual. Like, no, there's absolutely no reason for it. But so many gay people do that, or they're constantly shoving their sexuality down everyone else's throats. And it's just wrong. I had a coworker many years ago, and he actually told me a story where they went to a hockey game, and it was him and his gay best friend, and sitting in front of them was a wife and husband, and I think in their kid, and then in front of that was two guys like making out constantly, just going at it. And the wife was like, hey, can you stop? I've got my young like kid here. And they freaked out, like, it's because I'm gay. It's because I'm gay. And my friend, who has his gay friend there, was like, no, it's actually offensive. I don't even want to see that. The gay community is all about rules for thee, not for thee. Did I say that right? I think I said that right. And it's not right. Like, you can't expect people to do and cater to you when you won't cater to them. You can't. I don't want to see straight people macking like crazy. I don't want to see gay people macking like crazy. There's a time and place for it. But a lot of gay people, gay men especially, are so self-obsessed with so many things, and it irks me so much. And with the self-obsessed part, it's all about that main character syndrome too, like I've been talking about. I mean, the gay community, you have to have the hottest body. You have to have, like a 9-inch cucumber. You have to have the best job. You have to have everything got to be perfect. And if you don't have those things, you get, kicked out. And it's so like it's ridiculous on every level. I have been rejected by so many guys by so many just stupid reasons. 3 different guys alone have dumped me because I don't have an iPhone. I'm like, you do realize this makes me not want Apple even more. Like, I mean, some of the things I could tell you why I've been turned down and rejected are insane. But most of them just want to get down your pants and then move on. And you have to have the perfect everything. I literally last summer went downtown. I was at it's a gay bar, gay friendly, however you want to put it. And I was sitting there talking to this guy and flirting away. And then he asked me where I lived. I'm like, oh, I live, a couple miles in central town. And he's like, you don't live in downtown? And like, I was like, no. And he like literally turned from me because I don't live downtown. I'm like, so that makes me lesser than because I don't live downtown. And I see this stuff constantly. And it's not just my area. I've been to Wilton Manors. I've been to Milwaukee. I've been to Chicago. I've been to all these big gay areas. And it's kind of the same way. And you have to be a certain way and it's got to be perfection. And it's not real. Or you have to have the same think tank. If you have to think and talk and communicate everything the exact same way, if you kind of deviate from that, you're ousted. Dare question having, a 5-year-old thinking they're trans. Also, I'm, the worst human being on the planet Earth. And I sit back and it makes me feel so lonely because it's like, I can't be the only gay man that has these things thought process. It turns out there's a lot out there. I never can meet any of them, but like all the ones I've ever been around are just, it's all about themselves, craziness into the gay community. That's the whole entire talking point. And, yes, queen and all that stuff. And it's just too much. It's too much. And it doesn't actually help to bring us all together. It doesn't help to make our community stronger, especially with today's day and age. Like, I go back to the kid things. I'll go back to that kid thing over and over again because I have friends who kids are being indoctrinated in school. I mean, trans everything. And it's just, and by the way, trans is being so popular is actually the eraser of gay. You're taking gay little boys and gay little girls that would have grown up to be maybe a feminine guy or a butch lesbian or just a tomboy and medicalizing them and making them not gay anymore, which is erasing gay, which is everything that y'all fight for because you're making them straight. And it's just, I don't get it. And again, it's going back to the kid thing. And I'll probably make a whole video on this and maybe lots more videos because I'm extremely passionate about this. But the main reason for this video is to kind of talk about the main character syndrome that is, I feel like, is plaguing the gay community. And they are so much about me and myself and everything, how amazing I am. And it's just too much. It really is too much. And we'll never be able to be a better community. And we'll never be able to be better friends because, real quick, by the way, gay friends is extremely difficult because most of them just want to, like all the time. And they're bitchy. Like I've done some of the Stonewall events. We used to have a Stonewall bowling event back like 10, 15 years ago. And everyone slept with each other. And then everyone was pissed at each other and everyone was bitchy with each other. I'm like, are we like in high school? Like, why can't we just hang out and be friends and not have sex? Like, I don't get it. I don't understand it. Maybe I am just an anomaly. I really don't know. But for me, it bothers me because of the massive amount of rejection I've had and the things that people have told me and criticized me for is just nuts. And all I can think of is so self-obsessed. Like, I mean, I'm not fat, like, and yet I'm being told all the time that I'm not, I could go on to a 5-hour rant about that. It's just, it's just frustrating as all get up to see a society crumbling the way it is. And they love the big cities, by the way. The gay community love the big cities. And I think it's because they can feel so altruistic there. And they can be so like, I am better, I am so fancy. And it's frustrating. It is frustrating. And it also kind of goes back to, I'm going to talk about this, is TV and movies. I'm just actually watching Glee again because I'm actually watching a lot of the gay stuff because I've been making notes on it. And I'm kind of shocked. I can't remember how bad, like bitchy they were. You know, Kurt in Glee always was talking about how the straights don't want to get along with him and they're all mean to him. I'm like, but every episode and every clip of him is him being bitchy. Like, again, straight guys don't like bitchy. So you're acting like a jerk to them and you're expecting them to be friendly. When I was in high school, I got along with everyone. I was like, some of my closest friends were the jocks in the football team. I mean, tons of parties. I was invited to everything because I'm nice and bubbly and I wanted to talk to people and I wasn't bitchy and I didn't, even though I was hiding who I was, I still wasn't bitchy. And I do a little bitchy sometimes, but it's like fun stuff and clearly you can tell I am. It's the whole thing. But I don't actually use it as my entire identity. And I see all these characters on TV and it's always snotty, bitchy, mean. And it's like, so this is what our representation is? And I don't like it because that's not all of us. I mean, and it's no wonder why the gay community is being attacked on things because it's like being the bitchiness and self-obsessed and I need the big city. My small town was horrible. I can't be in a small town. You know what? Small towns can be super friendly. I was from a very small town and 2,000 people. And a lot of people knew I was gay. And that was, 2000, 99, things like that. And no one fucking cared. I don't know if I can swear on here. But anyways, no one cared. So all these movies and TV shows where they got to get out of the big small town, got to get to the big city because the big city is going to be more like me and more friendly and more. It's more cold and more cynical and more just not good. So I guess those are my viewpoints. And I could go on probably another 6-hour rant about this. But my biggest thing with the gay community is the main character syndrome is that it's never enough. It's never enough. You got to sleep with as many people as you can sleep with. You got to have the most expensive cars. You got to have I had an ex who had to have, everything was diamonds. Everything had to be expensive. And he told me when he got his BMW that I'm part of the cool kids again. And I'm just like, like who thinks like that? Like it's so shallow and it's just sad. That's just all. So anyways, well, I think I'm going to end there because like I said, I could go on a 5-hour rant about main character syndrome in the gay community. And I'm going to do more videos to kind of talk about this in more depth because I didn't even get through half of my notes on here of the things I wanted to talk about. So anyways, well, remember, it ain't all about you. Thank you for coming along with this video here. And remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will talk to you all in the next one.